Morning. Welcome back to today's lecture. In previous lecture, we discussed something about vectors, scalar product and vector product, and we have discussed in detail how we calculate different type of product, that is scalar product as well as vector product. Before we move to the main topic, that is projectile motions or circular motion, let me first discuss two-dimension motion, the motion in two dimension. Motion in two dimension. Two dimensions in x and y together, y or z together, z or x together. There are only two directions at a time that we are discussing. Now, in which cases we discuss such thing? Suppose we are observing the motion of fan. We are observing the throwing of ball, or plating of ball by bat. Everywhere we can see one thing is very simple, that there are two motions at a time, one along horizontal, one along vertical. If we consider horizontal as x-axis and vertical as y-axis, then at any particular time we can have displacement along x-axis as well as y-axis. Say we can consider the displacement along x-axis is r x into I. This will call as displacement along x-axis, Rx, equal to x into I. Okay. At the same time, there is some displacement in y-axis also, that we call Ry equal to y into j. We know what are I and j. They are just unit vectors along x and y axis themselves. Okay. Then at any time t, at any particular time t, if we want to know what is the position vector of any object, suppose we are considering these are two axes. One is along say x axis, it is along y axis, and this is the origin. Okay, and at any time t, the point is at this p. Naturally we can have this as the position vector of this point p, and it can be taken as the resultant of two. One is say this one. If I just make the parallelogram, here we can observe there are two vectors. One is this one, say OA, and this is say OB. This OA is your Rx vector, and this is your Ry vector, and this is our resultant vector R. That is OP vector. From the diagram is very simple. It's OA plus OB. That means Rx plus Ry, in general Xi plus Yj. This is the resultant vector, or in general what we call the position vector of point P at any time t. Remember here why we are discussing this, because we have to familiarize ourselves that how exactly we do the motion in two dimensions. Because the main topic of the chapter itself is motion in a plane. That means it has to be a plane, in two-dimensional thing. Okay, and we have physically discussed how we discuss scalar product, vector product, because they are all parts of different types of motion. Here we have the initial stage of position vector, how we get it in motion in two dimensions. Let us discuss the relative motion in two dimensions. relative motion in two dimension. Okay. Before we discuss relative motion in two dimensions, I must at least tell you something, that the matter, the way by which we have just determined the position vector of any point in two dimension, and that was r equal to xi plus yj. Clear? In that way, we can also determine the instantaneous velocity. Velocity at any time t in two dimension, of course. We write v equal to vxi plus vyj. This can also be written as d upon dt of xi plus dy upon dt j. The same thing as this one. This is what we have, instantaneous velocity. In the same way, we can find out the acceleration also. A equal to d upon dt of vxi plus d upon dt vyj. Okay, that means here again it is ax plus ay. They are all very important when we discuss the relative motion of two dimensions, relative motion in two dimensions. Okay. Let us give some example that how or when we actually require such thing. Suppose we are moving on a road, okay, and it is rainy season, and we are having umbrella, but that was in folded state. But as soon as rain starts, what we do? We just open the umbrella. Clear? And suppose we are standing and the raindrop is moving downward, vertically downward, exactly like this. This is the umbrella and the raindrop is like this. Okay? Raindrop is like this. And I am in stationary state and I am holding the umbrella like this, and it is the raindrop which is falling on it like this. But if I just move either in eastern way, suppose this is east way and this is western way. If I move this way and water is still moving down, it is still falling down vertically on the umbrella, do you think that we can save ourselves from the onslaught of rainwater? No, we will never do. Here, remember, if I am in stationary state, rainwater is there, then whatever is the direction of rainwater, that same thing is in fact accepted by the umbrella. And I am protecting myself by putting the umbrella over my head in a way that I am not moving, and it is only shielding me. But if I just try to move in some direction and rainwater is still moving the same direction, that is vertically downward, then remember, I could not protect myself in that case. Now here this is two-dimensional space, and this is vertical plane. This is eastern direction, this is western direction, and I was moving initially with some velocity Vm toward east, and rainwater was falling vertically downward like this. Then in order to observe the relative velocity of rainwater with respect to my motion, then what could we do? We have to subtract my velocity from the velocity of rain. That means we must take the opposite velocity here, opposite to my velocity. It is minus Vm and it is still the velocity of rainwater. Then we take the resultant of the two. It is the resultant. It is the resultant of the two. And if I just move here, then this is the direction in which raindrop will be falling on my umbrella. These are the raindrops when I am in motion, and we can see if I incline my umbrella in this direction, then only I will protect myself from the rain. Here, remember, whatever velocity I am getting, that is the relative velocity. That is relative motion. Here it is not the relative motion of one dimension. In one dimension, what we have seen, that if car A is moving this way, car B is moving this way, and they are in the same direction, then we do the relative velocity of this with respect to this will be A minus B. This is B, this is A. And if they are moving face to face like this, they are coming oppositely, then VA plus VB. They are in one dimension. But in two dimension, it is not like that. But it is like this. This type of situation will be there. Here, जो हमको यहाँ पे मिलता है, क्या मिलता है? हम यहाँ पर ईस्ट की तरफ चल रहे थे, ऊपर से छतरी लेकर चल रहे थे, ऊपर से पानी गिर रहा है. अगर मैं रुका होता तो मेरे ऊपर मैं बिल्कुल प्रोटेक्टेड रहता, बिल्कुल वर्टिकल छतरी लेकर. आई कुड प्रोटेक्ट माई सेल्फ बाई कीपिंग अम्ब्रेला वर्टिकल, because I am not moving. If I move in eastern direction, then I have to bend my umbrella in such a way. First we have to see what is the relative velocity of rainwater with respect to my motion. तो मैंने मेरा velocity को रेन वाटर की velocity से माइनस करना पड़ेगा. That means the relative velocity of a raindrop with respect to man's motion. I am considering my motion as man's motion because my velocity is Vm. And we write V equal to Vr minus Vm. In general, we have Vr plus minus Vm, and that we have seen this was Vm and this is minus Vm. This plus this gives this resultant vector, and this is our velocity V. This is our velocity V, and this is the relative velocity of rainwater with respect to the motion of man, and therefore that means water will be coming like this. हम इधर चाह रहे, suppose I am moving like this, then water will be falling to me like this. Then I have to slightly bend my umbrella towards this, okay? And that is how we have to bend. If this angle is theta, and then this will also be theta, from this we can see tan theta equals to Vm upon Vr. And by putting my umbrella in the angle tan inverse of Vm upon Vr, I can protect myself from this. So this was the relative motion in two dimension. Okay, and after having the initial stage of two dimensional motion, let us move to the main topic of today, that is projectile motion. projectile motion. As the name implies, projectile means something has to be projected. Something has to be projected. Something has to be thrown. Okay, suppose we throw anything. Suppose we are having this ball and it is thrown. It is thrown vertically upward. It is not projectile. But if I throw it in other direction, then it will be a projectile motion. Suppose I am having this ball, and this is the place from where we are considering both the hands are almost in horizontal, although with the motion, with my movement, they are no longer in horizontal state. If I move this ball, if I move this ball, in every case, we have seen that this ball is thrown in the direction like this, and finally it moves down. Similarly, this ball was moving this way and finally it moved down. Here, in both the cases, one thing we have seen that it is such a motion which always takes place in two dimensions. Number one, projectile motion is such a motion which takes place in two dimensions with a constant acceleration. That is very important thing. With a constant acceleration, इस ऐसा मोशन ये होना चाहिए जिसमें कि ये दो डायमेंशन का तो हो, एक डायमेंशन में नहीं होगा. इट हैज टू बी इन टू डायमेंशन, एक्स वाई जेड या वाई जेड एक्स, दो डायमेंशन एट ए टाइम होगा, दो डायरेक्शन होगा. बट इट मस्ट हैव अ कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन. कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन कौन सा एक्सेलरेशन होगा? दैट विल बी द एक्सेलरेशन अंडर द influence of gravity, that is acceleration due to gravity. In general, what we say, how we define projectile motion? Projectile motion is that two-dimensional motion in which the body moves in two directions, x-axis and y-axis, or in horizontal plane as well as vertical plane, but with a constant acceleration, that is acceleration due to gravity. When we say this thing, that it has in fact two types of motion. One is horizontal motion, other is vertical motion. It is in fact a combination of two motion. And when we say it is combination of two motion, there is at least one so-called principle behind that. There is one principle. उस principle को क्या कहते हैं हम लोग? What we call, that particular principle is called as principle of independence of motion. Always remember, a projectile motion can be explained on the basis of principle of independence of motions. What is this principle? Okay, now let us explain what is this principle. According to this principle, that in the absence of air resistance or viscosity, atmosphere में कोई हवा नहीं चलने, आंधी तूफान नहीं चलेगा. Remember, आंधी तूफान चलेगा तो air resistance अलग होगा. Then we will not have that type of thing. During the thunderstorm, during the very strong wind, or during the atmosphere with full of motion of dust particles, we cannot have the same thing as ordinary projectile motion. And therefore, if we say independent motions, there need to be absence of all such things. That is, according to the principle of independence of motion, a projectile motion is a combination of two motion. Number one is horizontal motion. Horizontal motion, where the body moves with constant velocity. Number 2, a vertical motion where the body moves with a constant acceleration, that is acceleration due to gravity. Remember this thing, a very important thing, that is a horizontal motion where the body moves with constant velocity, and the vertical motion where the body moves with constant acceleration. They are independent of one another. That is why we call principle of independence of motion. Remember, this is possible only when we say the air resistance is absent. In the absence of air resistance, a projectile motion is a combination of two independent motions. And yes, we have already observed that in the absence of air resistance, the projectile motion is a combination of two motions. One is horizontal motion, other is vertical motion. Clear? In horizontal motion, the velocity remains constant, and in vertical motion, it is the acceleration remains constant. ये कौन सा acceleration आता है, कहाँ से आता है? ये under the influence of gravity, that is acceleration due to gravity. Clear? Okay. And sometimes इसको general way में इसको हम लोग कहते हैं प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ मोशन. ओके, लेकिन कभी कभी कुछ बुक्स में लिखा रहता है फिजिकल इंडिपेंडेंस लिखा रहता है. तो अगर ये लिखा है दैट इज द सेम थिंग. ओके, इट इज समटाइम आल्सो कॉल्ड प्रिंसिपल ऑफ फिजिकल इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ मोशन. In fact, the basics of projectile motion itself is this much. Okay, and therefore we have seen a projectile motion is a combination of two motion, vertical and horizontal motion. Let me give some examples that where you see such projectile motion. Well, suppose in cricket ground, when the batsman hits the ball moves a curved path. That motion is a projectile motion. When an athlete throws a javelin when a javelin throw is made like this, then also the path of that will also be, the javelin throw will also be projectile path. That is projectile motion. When we play football, by kicking the football in the on ground, there also the motion of football is projectile motion. Okay, and suppose we see that some bombshell is being dropped by an aeroplane, or something is dropped by an aeroplane, then the motion of that body which is falling from the aeroplane will also be a projectile motion. At the same, there are many such examples. Suppose we on the rooftop we are throwing something horizontally from the top of a tower, top of a building, then the path of that stone which is dropped from that not dropped but which is projected horizontally from the top of a tower or building will also be a projectile motion. These are various examples of projectile motion. Before we discuss further, let me know something very important. The object which is thrown or which is projected is called projectile. That is a very important thing. The point from where it is projected is called point of projection. The angle with which it is projected from the point of projection, that angle is called angle of projection, etc., etc. let us discuss the path of projectile. Path of projectile. Let us take this example where we have considered this as the path. This is the point of projection, and the velocity with which it was projected was v. This is your velocity v, and the angle of projection is theta. Clear? And this is horizontal, this is vertical. This path that is acquired by the projectile is called path of projectile. That is also called as trajectory of projectile. Okay, and in the trajectory there is a point P. Its coordinate is x, y, where I am considering horizontal direction as x and vertical direction as y. Therefore, we can resolve the velocity into two components. This is v cos theta as horizontal velocity, and it is v sin theta as a vertical velocity. Clear? दो velocity आ गया, horizontal direction में v cos theta and vertical direction में v sin theta. And at any point P इसका coordinate क्या है? x, y. ये 0 टाइम से चलना स्टार्ट करते हैं. मान ले t टाइम पे यहाँ पहुँचता है. Let the projectile takes time t in reaching the point P. Okay, then the distance traveled in time t along x axis क्या हो जाएगा? इसको हम लोग x देखते हैं, जो कि यहाँ से यहाँ तक डिस्टेंस पहुँचता है. ये x है और ये y है. तो x will be equal to vx into t. vx कितना है? v cos theta into t. और t equal to x upon v cos theta. This is equation number 1. Okay. Let us see, because यहाँ पे एक्सेलरेशन नहीं लिया था हमने. एक्सेलरेशन इज 0. मैंने पहले कहा हॉरिजॉन्टल में एक्सेलरेशन नहीं होता है. Let us see displacement in y axis, the distance traveled, the distance traveled in time t along y axis. तो यहाँ पर तो एक्सेलरेशन भी है. We write y equal to v by t plus half gt square. That we can write. Okay, and there vy is your v sin theta t minus half gt square. जानते हैं ऊपर नीचे से ऊपर तक फेंकने से g माइनस में होता है, and g remains constant in that path. This is y, and we put the value of t in equation 2 from 1. We get y equal to v sin theta t is x upon v cos theta minus half g x square upon v square cos square theta gt square. Sorry, this much. Okay, and then we cancel out. y equal to what we had, tan theta x minus half g upon v square cos square theta into x square. This is constant, this is also constant. We can write y equal to px minus q x square. This is your equation number 3. And we can observe this equation is the equation of a parabola. That means the path of projectile is a parabola. That means this is parabolic path. ये जो दिख रहा है, ये जो पाथ होता है, इस पाथ को हम लोग पैराबोलिक कहते हैं. आप जानते हैं पैराबोला इस टाइप के पैराबोला होता है, इस टाइप का होता है, इस टाइप का होता है, इस टाइप का होता है. तो यहाँ पर किससे मिलता जुलता दिख रहा है? यहाँ से. ठीक है. That means the path of projectile here is a parabolic path, and this is a very important relationship. You have to know that how this is found. In that way, we have discussed enough thing, something very informative thing about projectile motion. In the next lecture, we will discuss the details about time of flight, the range, horizontal range, and maximum height attained by the projectile, along with some of the relevant numerical problems. Okay, and with that, and I think this is all about today's lecture. And next time we will discuss all such things regarding the maximum height attained by the projectile, maximum range, horizontal range, and time of flight. Okay, thank you.